You know, in India, being proficient in English isn't just a nice-to-have skill. It's a key that can unlock incredible opportunities in higher education and global careers. But here's the challenge. How do you effectively teach a language to millions and millions of students all at once? Well, today we're diving into a real game-changing solution, the AI-powered English Language Lab. Let's see how it all works.
And this really gets to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? We're talking about a massive, incredibly diverse student population. So the billion-dollar question is, how can you possibly provide high-quality, personalized English training that actually works at that kind of scale? It's a huge challenge for sure, but it's one that technology is now perfectly positioned to solve.
Now, to really understand just how powerful this solution is, we first have to get a handle on the why. Why is getting English right so absolutely critical in India today? Let's take a closer look.
I mean, the stakes are incredibly high. Think about it. English is the bridge to higher education. It's the language of the global job market. It's not just another subject you learn in school. It's a fundamental tool for progress, both for individuals and for the country as a whole. And that makes the need for effective, modern learning tools more urgent than ever before.
And that brings us right to the solution that's picking up so much steam, the Modern Language Lab. Now, if you're picturing those old-school booths with the clunky headphones and cassette tapes, yeah, you got to think again. What we're talking about here is something way more powerful and dynamic.
So at its core, a modern language lab is basically a tech-powered space built to develop all four of the key language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing, or LSRW as it's known in education. And the key word here is active practice. This isn't about passively listening to a lesson. It's all about doing in a really structured and interactive way.
And here's the difference in a nutshell. On one hand, you have the traditional classroom. Everybody moves at the same pace. There's very little time for individual students to actually speak, and getting feedback from a teacher can take days. But on the other hand, you have the modern lab. It's self-paced, it's personalized, you get unlimited speaking practice, and you get instant feedback driven by AI. It's a complete paradigm shift. So what does all this mean in the real world? Well, for students, it means they get a learning journey that's tailored just for them, in a safe space where they can build confidence without any fear of judgment. For teachers, it's a massive boost in efficiency. It frees them up to be mentors instead of just spending all their time on corrections. And for the nation, it aligns perfectly with India's big push for skill-based education.
But what's the secret sauce that makes all of this possible? It's one thing: artificial intelligence. AI is what elevates the Modern Language Lab from just a useful tool to something truly revolutionary.
And the key thing to get here is that AI isn't just some fancy add-on. It's the very core of the experience. It turns the lab into an intelligent, responsive system that can give personalized instruction to millions of learners all at the same time. Let's break down exactly how it does that.
Okay, let's start with speaking. The AI basically becomes a personal pronunciation coach for every single student, and it goes way beyond just right or wrong. It can pick up on really specific errors, analyzing a student's voice, pinpointing phonetic mistakes, and then giving them targeted drills to fix them. It's literally like having a personal tutor on call 24/7. And that same deep level of analysis applies to writing. This is so much more than a simple spell checker. The AI uses natural language processing to look at sentence structure, spot awkward phrasing, and offer smart suggestions to make the writing clearer and more stylish. Getting that kind of instant, detailed feedback is just, well, it's almost impossible in a traditional classroom.
Okay, so the tech is clearly impressive, but how does a school or a college actually put it into practice? It's probably easier than you think. Let's walk through the basic steps of getting a digital language lab up and running.
The whole process is surprisingly straightforward. It really starts with picking the right cloud-based software. Then, you just need the basics: a stable internet connection and access to devices, which can be anything from laptops to smartphones. After that comes the really crucial step: training teachers how to use these new tools effectively. And finally, use the platform's own analytics to keep an eye on how students are progressing. It's a really accessible and scalable model.
So what does a student actually do in one of these labs? It's all about interactive, fun activities. For example, a student might start by interpreting some audio dialogues and then jump into an AI-powered role play for a job interview. They could tackle a speed reading challenge and then draft a professional email that gets instant feedback from the AI. The whole thing is designed to make practice not just effective, but actually enjoyable.
And that scalability we just mentioned is so important, because when a solution can be rolled out this easily, from laptops to phones, it stops being just a tool for one classroom. It becomes a strategic asset for the future. So let's zoom out for a second and see how this technology fits into India's larger national education strategy.
A really key piece of this puzzle is something called Swayam Plus. This is a big government-led initiative that offers skill-based courses from India's absolute top universities and major industry leaders. It's a massive, highly credible resource for learners all across the country.
So, how do these two things, the Language Lab and Swayam Plus, fit together? Well, just imagine a student is taking a Swayam Plus course on business communication. They can then use their school's Language Lab to practice the specific vocabulary and conversations they're learning. They can role-play client negotiations, practice writing formal reports, and get that immediate AI feedback every step of the way. It creates this seamless learning experience that leads to certifications that employers really value.
And that brings us to what might be the most important point of all. Bringing an AI-powered language lab into an institution isn't just about buying new software. It is a strategic investment in building a skilled, globally competitive workforce for India's future.
Because ultimately, the goal here is to equip students with skills not just for exams, but for life. It's about moving past rote memorization and giving students the practical, real-world communication skills they're actually going to need to succeed in their careers and in everything else they do. So, we'll leave you with this question to think about. The technology is here, the need is undeniable, and the potential is just vast. The future of language learning has arrived, and it's intelligent, it's personalized, and it's scalable. The only real question left is, who's ready to embrace it?